It's always a pleasure to come here to the Pro-Life Summit and meet folks from across the country in such different contexts, but all fighting the good fight to represent the smallest and the most unseen among us. My name is Ross Huffam. I'm here representing the Heritage Foundation and the broader Heritage enterprise. Heritage is a public policy organization that researches and promotes conservative policy solutions across all policy issues. Part of how we build a stronger America is by building the future of American leadership, which is what we do through our Young Leaders Program internship and other top in-person and virtual programs that we offer. We have a table with a bright blue backdrop right there outside the Grand Ballroom. It'll be there all day. And we also have a table at the career fair upstairs happening until 1 o'clock. So please be sure to stop by after this session, not during. We at Heritage consider ourselves to be America's outpost in Washington, D.C. So I think it's wonderfully fitting to be here in Washington introducing the next panel of pro-life champions from across the country. This session on innovative pro-life ideas for 2025 and beyond welcomes 6 speakers to the stage. Betty Hodge joins from Jackson, Mississippi, where she leads the Center for Pregnancy Choices metro area. Sean Pennell joins from Nevada, where she works with Arise Intercessors United. Christina Flores hails from the University of Texas in El Paso, where she leads the Students for Life efforts. Nicole Swanick leads the Students for Life efforts at Our Lady of Guadalupe in North Carolina. Tony Martini is from Bathed in His Glory and is also a Christian author. And Kevin Jorney is from the Diocese of Toledo, here from Ohio. Please enjoy as we hear these leaders share their vision for the next chapter of the pro-life movement.
Well, good morning. I'm going to tell you right off bat, I'm ADD, so that may be a little bit hard for me. So if I get, you'll know, yes. Okay, so I'm Betty Hodge. I'm so glad to be here today. Don't have time to tell my story, but if you knew my story, you would know the honor that I feel to be here. So I'm a leader at a pregnancy center in Jackson, Mississippi, and we have women that come to us daily that are considering abortion. And some of the main things we hear are their finances, issues going on with their finances. I'll have a clicker here. So one of the things that, I was thinking about when I was going to talk about my session today is that we say that we want to make abortion unthinkable, but we really can't help her make it unthinkable if she's not able to imagine that there's another way. In 2022, did I get it right? Yes. In 2022, 88% of abortions were from single women, unmarried women. 40% of those women had already had live births. Okay, I'm giving y'all statistics, so kind of bear with me. I'm not a statistic person, but just bear with me because there's some meat with it. Okay, last year it was estimated over 16 million children in the United States live in a single mother household. That equaled up to about 7.3 million single mother households. And so I told you, when women come into us, they say one of their major reasons they are seeking abortion is because they don't know another way. Their finances. They'll have 2, 3, 4 kids, and we sit there and say, well, I don't, but it's easy to say, well, why are you choosing this? What are your dreams? All these things. And whenever she hears that, she just wants a solution. She wants the fix that's going to be something immediate. So what's fueling those thoughts are constantly with single mothers, I'm always being called on. Do you want me to talk about my dreams? I don't even get to sleep at night. Most of them are working minimum wage jobs. In Mississippi, y'all, it's $7.25 an hour. Okay, and so as we're talking through those things and thinking through those things, she can't imagine another way. And that's where we as a pro-life community have to come in. That's where you at this pro-life generation have to come in. So what's really cool, though, is when I was looking at statistics, it said 75% of single moms have jobs. 82% of those have at least 2 jobs. They're working full times. But dare I say, most of them, I think I should have already switched to another side, most of them are working 2 jobs. So we can go in the statistics of all of the single mothers' households and where it leads to children that's not being, with the moms being at home, where these kids are ending up. I'm not going through all of those things, but I know your mind can go there. There's a quote that is said, and it's very popular in the pro-life community, and I've said it, it's been said here, I'll probably have a shirt that says it, is she can keep her baby and her dreams. She can, but she cannot if she does not have you. That's where she needs you. She can't do it. Most of these women don't have children. Most of these women do not have mamas. So that means there's no grandmama to keep the kids. Aunts, uncles, there's no father in the life. The mom doesn't have a father, so there's no grandfather. So we're saying you can keep your baby in your dreams. Well, who's going to watch the baby once she goes after these things? Your generation right here, there's so much that you can do. And I want to encourage you to reach out to your pregnancy centers, reach out to organizations in your area, and volunteer your time that you have. Y'all, sometimes it's just to go to the grocery store. You say, I only have like 2 hours a week. Use those 2 hours. So where am I at now? Okay, so in our center, we have a program called I Am She. So when she comes to us, whether it's a positive pregnancy test or a negative pregnancy test, we want to help her break the cycle. She stands for strong, healed, and empowered. And we take her through this program where she's talking about, thank you, yeah, give them a hand. We take them through a program where we're talking about their career development. We talk about parenting. We talk about all the things that were stumbling blocks. But it may just be, y'all, before she can even think about going to get a job. It may be like to fill out an application. It may be to just sit in front of someone else. Maybe it may be having a conversation with someone without it being in text, right? That's legitimate. So we have to set small goals sometimes so that they can reach their big ones. And so as she's reaching these goals, we add incentives. And let me get to this. Jamise, y'all. Jamise came to us and she had 4 children. She had baby number 5, and she wanted to abort. Well, she didn't want to abort, but she didn't think there was another way. She had... She shared in our I Am She program that she really wanted to sell her paintings. She's an artist. And so we said, okay. And so one of her goals were met, and we bought her business cards, 250 business cards. Before we knew it, they were gone. She needed more. Okay, let's do another goal. Next thing, it was she really, really wanted to put her paintings in an art show. So, okay, let's help you. She got them in there. She sold every one of her paintings that day and got offered a job at the most influential art gallery in Mississippi. Okay? And when we've talked to her, she's like, I'm living my dream. You know, imagine if we weren't there for her, if her pro-life community was not there for her, where would she be with baby number 5? Or maybe she wouldn't be with baby number 5. So we also, in this program, we really started trying to find certifications outside of going to college. I mean, college is great, but when you have 4 babies or whatever, it seems almost unrealistic to these mamas. And so we found this program, so it's an EKG and phlebotomy program. Y'all, I don't think anybody in this room has ever had a dream that says, I want to be a phlebotomist. Do y'all know what it is? They draw blood. Who wants to do that all day long, right? But I bet you these 3 women that went through this program, their dream was that I do not want to work a minimum wage job for the rest of my life and go nowhere. Y'all, this program only cost us, our pregnancy scholarship, amazing donors, but our pregnancy center scholarship them. It's only $1,200 for the program. It's only 6 weeks. So think a single mom working 2 jobs. All the statistics that I told you, they matter. So they go, and then so 4 weeks is at home, or she can do it at home. And then she goes 2 weeks into working in a clinic. And so from there, she's able to get a job. Y'all, remember I said $7.25? She comes out making $18 or $20 an hour. And from there, she has room for advancement. They can move on up. And do you see their pictures? They're so excited. They didn't dream that they could do that. And so she is able to keep her baby and live her dreams, right? Okay, and then there's Delaney. Delaney's very special to me. Delaney had come to our center, and she was going to be on abortion number 2. And when she came in, she admitted that she had her first abortion when she was younger, but she had been shunned by church. And when she came in, like grace just fell upon her, and she cried and cried. She decided to keep her baby. Why? Because she said, I've never felt this supported in my life. So she joined, I lead groups called Embrace Grace. I don't know if y'all know what all that is, but she joined that group, and we found out that she wanted to become a lash technician. I don't know if you know what that is either, right? But it's where you go and get your fake eyelashes put on, right? Y'all, those cost money. And so we paid for her to go to this certification because she said, I want to be able to work, not put my child in daycare. Because remember, think back of single mamas. Oh, I didn't say, but only 45% of the statistics that I told you earlier receive child support. So think about her working 2 jobs, or let's think about her minimum wage that she's getting and all this stuff. And then daycare. Daycare costs a lot of money. I didn't look up at the rate in Mississippi. It costs a lot of money. So she said, I don't want to have to pay for daycare, so she can do this. And she comes out making $150 an hour. So that to me, that is where it is helping her see that she can do it. Not only do it, but she can there's no ending to Delaney. And so whenever I say this, that my prayer is that we will help make abortion unthinkable by helping single mothers believe that she can keep her baby and live her dreams. And so today, my challenge for you is that you will take some of this and realize, and last thing I'll tell you, the amount of single mothers in churches is this little. I wish I'd looked up the statistic. The Life of a Single Mother, Jennifer Maggio, has got some great statistics on her website. But single mothers aren't in churches because they don't have a place. We cater to young adults, which is great, and college. But if she's got a baby, she really doesn't fit in there. It's a different life. Or married couples, things like that. I lead a conference every year for single mothers. It's free. They come. We have over 100 kids there, y'all. But you know what? She's getting something that she's getting poured into, and she's getting treated with the value and dignity. So my encouragement is, even if you don't have a pregnancy center around you, there's single mamas all around you. Find a way to go and help her. Because when she feels supported, the likelihood of her saying that she's going to have that abortion goes down and down and down. So thank you very much for your time today.
All right, good morning. I'm Sean Pennell, and this is my co-presenter, Tony T.J. Martini. She's a Christian author. So our innovative idea for this workshop stems from a recent political clip on Fox News and the long and short of it was that a young female political commentator said they thought it was going to be the year of the revenge of the woman, but actually it's the year of the man. And so we were thinking about that phrase, the year of the man, and Tony and I began speaking about the role of the man and how it's been tragically diminished in the abortion narrative. In fact, in some circumstances, as you know, men have been all but pushed out of the decision to parent or abort. With the narrative of my body, my choice looming so heavily, men have been placed figuratively and quite literally in the waiting room. They're no longer allowed to exercise their God-given nature to protect and provide. Having worked at a crisis pregnancy center, I heard many young men say, well, it's your body. I'll support you in whatever you want to do. And what he meant was, I'm not really allowed to tell you what to do with your body, but it'll be easier for everyone if you just have the abortion. I'm not really sure I'm ready to be a father. And all that little gal heard was, I see you drowning in a pool, so I'm going to throw you a bag of cement, because that seems really helpful right now. But with the year of the man, how might that scenario and narrative change? For this session, we're going to take the wide lens of abortion, and we're going to narrow our focus onto one aspect, the man. And while we know there are a variety of reasons that women elect to have abortion, we're going to focus theoretically on those who have some relationship with the father of the baby. We're going to expose three main ways that the year of the man can inform the narrative of the future. So one, what about the man who wants to keep his baby? Well, first, he should tell her. We need to normalize men's desire and ability to protect their children. In 1976, Planned Parenthood versus Danforth ruled that men have no constitutional right to prevent a woman from having an abortion. Through marketing, education, and conversation, can we reverse the emasculation of men and then restore to him the fight to protect his baby and champion healing for those who lost their babies? Two, what about providing for his baby? Well, several items fall under this heading, including the high national cost of sheltering men from the hard work of fatherhood through abortion. And then how about supporting men who don't know how to be a father to their child? Three, what about the man who is oblivious to the fact he was meant to be a father? We need to tell the truth about the long-term consequences of Planned Parenthood versus Casey, which ruled that fathers are not entitled to be notified about an abortion. So how many lonely men, childless fathers, are there out there? And Tony's going to talk to us on this point. So first, let's address the emasculation of men through abortion. I had a friend who got his girlfriend pregnant, and she was considering abortion. And when she told him, he protested. He said no way. He wanted to keep the baby. Even if they didn't work out, he wanted to raise his child. And so with that kind of commitment and support, of course she married him, and they have 4 beautiful children today. But yes, absolutely. Change the narrative. Tell his story. But what about the man whose partner chose to have the abortion anyway? Let's start a conversation about his feelings of being left out of the decision. For the man who was pro-choice and didn't think about the devastating consequences that would happen afterwards. Let's talk about long-term effects that abortion-wounded men experience emotionally and relationally. Shame and sadness keep people from talking openly about these issues, but when we shift a narrative from the singular focus on the woman to something that enables men to acknowledge what happened to them, they can heal and then lobby for their rights to be men, to be fathers again. Our action items for this is talk to men about, ask them tough questions about their rights as fathers, encourage men to legislate and go to court over paternal rights, spend time and money on marketing to men about the consequences of abortion to them. And next, let's confront what abortion has done to erode the sense of responsibility in some men. In days past, if a man got his girlfriend pregnant, he found a job or went into the army so he could support his family. It's not like that today. Last summer, I spoke with an older man returning to college for his bachelor's degree. He explained that he had dropped out of school at age 15 because he got his girlfriend pregnant. But unashamed, he told me, at 15, you wouldn't believe how strong a man's desire is to go to work and provide for his baby. How many men are prevented from having to face the painful and difficult situation of an unplanned pregnancy that would actually lead them to character and maturity? Furthermore, many men fear failing as fathers. Providing training specifically for dads is a powerful way to build skills and commitment regarding the responsibilities of fathers, and then help women feel more confident co-parenting or marrying these men. So our action item here is encourage men to do hard things. Call forth the man in him and help him find his fight. And then contact Pastor Otto Kelly. He's a former director of a crisis pregnancy center. And ask about the Dad E Academy, which is a course designed specifically to train men and support fathers to be in need of mentoring.
So number 3, the childless father. Have you ever thought about how many men today are childless due to abortion? We rarely talk about it, but it's a crisis affecting millions of men. Imagine a man was told he was going to be a father, only to hear, "My body, my choice," from the woman, leaving him without a decision about her aborting his baby. And there's nothing he can do. There have been more than 65 million abortions nationwide since 1973. But could his child have been saved had he been there, had he had a voice? Men have been left out of this conversation, and for decades, women have been encouraged to make decisions without even considering the impact on the fathers. This should cause outrage, and these statistics should make every one of us furious. The childlessness among the men between the ages of 40 and 44 increased by 50% over the last 50 years, a silent epidemic that we can no longer afford to ignore. How did this atrocity get so out of hand? So many men have been robbed of one of the most precious gifts, a child of their own to hold, to tuck in, and to kiss goodnight. This man will never hear, "Daddy, will you read me a story?" Or, "Dad, can we play catch?" And most precious of all, "Daddy, I love you." And what happens when this man grows old? There will be no one to visit him, no one to tuck him in, and no one to hold his hand and say the words, "I love you, Dad." There will be no grandchildren, no legacy, and no one to carry on his family name. But this isn't just a personal loss. This is a collective failure. We need to wake up, and this means all of us. You young people in your 20s, 30s, and 40s are no doubt thinking about your future, and that's great. But old age? Maybe not. I know I never did. Those statistics were impossible for us to get. What about those men who never knew they were going to be fathers? They were never told because they never knew because they were never told, and a child was taken from them in secret. These men spend their whole lives believing that they are childless, but heaven says differently. I know of 3 babies in heaven whose fathers have no idea because I didn't tell them. There was a time when men were the rightful heads of their household, entrusted with the responsibility to protect their families, that since 1976, men have lost their constitutional right to protect the unborn or to even know when their child is aborted. This unjust reality has led many men to abandon their roles as protectors. And who can blame them? It is time to restore their God-given rights and empower them to be the strong men they were meant to be, and fighting for their family and their life, Lord. And in closing, Sean and I have brought to the table 3 points. First, paternal rights that allow men to be men. Second, to support men to have the courage and the skills to become fathers. And third, expose long-term consequences of my body, my choice, in the millions of older men who are the childless fathers. And this burden should not be for women only. We must involve the fathers. These childless men, they have rights, and they deserve a voice. We need to let them be fathers. Sean and I thank you, and God bless you all.
No pressure. Just come up after the guys need to be guys talk. Gosh, guys, I'm so excited to talk to you today. I mean, just number one, all of the great people that are already here, I feel just very unworthy to be here. But yeah, men, where are my men at? Let's go. I just watched Braveheart, so I'm just ready to go, guys, okay? And then just the pregnancy resource centers. I mean, so many of our fellow Christians have no idea where they are, what they do, and it's really up to us to educate our fellow Christians about those resources, right? And so, I mean, work with men. Let's get the men involved. All the pro-life events that we do, it's like 90% women. So, I mean, number one, guys, that's just a no-brainer. Go there, right? Awesome women are there. You need to be there. Number two, pregnancy resource centers. We need to bolster their ranks, and we need to get involved and help support them. And how do we do that, right? And so the way we do that, by the way, I'm Catholic. My wife and I are Catholic converts. It'll be 4 years. Let's go, guys. It'll be 4 years since we joined the church this April. I've been in this position as the Respect Life Director for the Diocese of Toledo for Catholic Charities. It'll be 3 years in March. Where are my Ohio people at? Okay. We have such a blessing with the Catholic Church, and this is for everyone. You can use all the resources that I'm going to talk about today, but we have to reinvigorate fellow Christians. And I don't know if you guys know this or not, but we don't live in Christendom. I mean, this is an apostolic age, and it sounds so shocking, but who we have to evangelize a lot of times are the people at our own churches. And so what I want to talk about is Ohio. So I mentioned Ohio. I'm going to kind of use Ohio as just a launching off block because I know a lot of other states have had abortion referendums where abortion has been enshrined in their constitution. In November of 2023, that happened to Ohio. And my team and I, everyone in Ohio, we were so unified. And we spoke to thousands of people, right? And I know there's other pro-life leaders here from Ohio that did the exact same thing. God bless all of you, right? Because we were the infantry. We were there on the ground level in the trenches doing the work. It was about a week before the election. You know, I got all my arguments. We know what we're talking about. I've got evidence. You know, we're pulling on the heartstrings. We know what our messaging is. I was speaking to about a group this size, and it was all of the St. Vincent de Paul ministry leaders from all of our different churches, right? And it's a great ministry that really helps to give, you know, men and women, families, different ways of just living because everything's so expensive right now. I think that'll probably change soon. But so after the talk, I had this woman come up to me, and it became very apparent that she didn't agree with us. And this is all Catholics, right? Catholics, we're pro-life. It's right in the catechism. There's no other way we can be. Catholics are pro-life. And so I'm actually having a really good dialogue with this lady who comes up. She's maybe 60, 65 years old. And I'm doing the Trent Horn apologetics. You know, we're listening. We're trying not to be weird, but we're just so excited. Sometimes it just comes out, right? But we're doing the 4 A's. I don't know if anyone caught. He did the 4 A's. He did agree, apply, ask why, and ah. So if you haven't read that book that you got, do that. It is so important. But no amount of apologetics was going to win this woman's heart. And by the end of this 20-minute-long conversation, I just ended up saying, so you agree that's a baby in the womb? And she said, yes. And I just said, and you agree that you're okay killing it through abortion? And she said, yes. And I just said, Lord, have mercy. Because she knew exactly what she was doing, and these are the people in our churches. And so a lot of people know, you know, there's a lot of Catholics in name only, right? And those are a lot of the hearts that we need to win to make abortion unthinkable. We got some stats at the end after our abortion referendum, which abortion was enshrined into our state constitution up till birth for any reason, even for minors, even without parental consent. It is so extreme, and just no one believed what was happening. And you'll hear a lot of times that, you know, I went to Catholic school for 12 years, right? And then the next thing they say is something super un-Catholic, right? Well, over half of those Catholics in name only voted for this. But what's more shocking is 38% of weekly mass-going Catholics voted for this abortion amendment. That is shocking. I mean, that is over a third of the Catholics that go to Mass. So on a spiritual level, I mean, they're excommunicated by their formal cooperation just in the act of that. So that woman that I talked to, she's in danger of going to hell. We need to pray for her and everyone that's at that church, but we just have a lot of work to do. So yes, we need to get in the schools. We have to get in the schools and start those pro-life groups, but even more so, do you have an hour? Do you have 2 hours to go and minister to the people at your own Catholic parish? We have to do it. We just have to. So how did we get here? We've been silent for far too long. We had our abortion amendment come up in the state of Ohio, and all of a sudden we're giving them the pro-life message, right? But you can't just do that when you have to vote in a few months. It's too late. That woman I talked to, she's been brainwashed for decades, and there was no amount of apologetics that was going to change that. One, we have to change hearts and minds, which you'll hear about in a little bit, but the pregnancy resource centers, reaching out to moms. As a part of Catholic Charities, I've sat down with inner city moms time after time, several kids with several different dads, and their stories are heartbreaking because they just say to me, all I want to do is just stay at home with my kids. And we're a lot closer on these issues than you may even think. But we have to communicate that truth, that goodness, that beauty. And that's where Christianity comes in, right? I mean, we have science, we've got the facts, we've got the logic, the logos. But we also have that care, that compassion, and that's where we can come at this from. And like I said, the Catholic Church is pro-life. Catechism of the Catholic Church, 2271. Since the first century, the Church has affirmed the moral evil of every procured abortion. This teaching has not changed and remains unchangeable. And I just want to say, too, if you have experienced abortion in any way, too, the church has a beautiful ministry called Project Rachel that's nationwide. So please just contact someone. We have a beautiful Project Rachel coordinator in our own diocese. So you guys know why this is important, why we have to do this, but how do we do it? I'm going to give you, in the last couple minutes, very tangible steps to take because we need you guys there. We have an aging Respect Life group population. So we should have Respect Life groups in all of our Catholic parishes across the nation, but a lot of them, and I just hate to say it this way because it sounds very crass and crude, but they're dying out because these are our beautiful retired people who have spent their lives fighting for this, and we don't have anyone in that 30 to 55-year-old range leading these groups. What an opportunity. This is where you guys come in. So, okay, Google, I know it's antiquated, right? We're doing AI now, but just bear with me because I'm a little bit older than you guys. So if you go to Google and step 1, just type in Diocesan Pro-Life Office. This pulls up the USCCB, which is the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops. No one knows this. All of the Respect Life directors in the nation are there. You can click on their website and go there. And once you look at it, Ohio, here we go. Here's all of our directors, and there's me. This is how you can contact your Respect Life director. It's right there. It's so easy to find. Those are all the ministries that we do. Next step. What are the resources that I can use to start these groups? Type in Respect Life. I didn't know it was a movie. Did anyone know Respect Life was a movie? It got 9.1 out of 10 on IMDb. I don't know. That's not an endorsement. This is the Respect Life office for the USCCB. Everything here is approved for you to go in and take to your local parishes. There's a lot of fear when you approach your church administrators about the pro-life cause because some feel it's controversial, even though it's dogmatic church teaching. However, this you can just share with them and say, these are the materials that I'm going to be sharing with you. And there's so much on here. I only have just a brief time here, but this is where you go, okay? And then you apply the Students for Life 5 pillars to this information. I mean, everything right here. We need to be doing at our Catholic churches. It's so obvious, isn't it? So if you guys take this to your church, everything is there for you. Students for Life, they give you everything you need. It's very simple. We just have to get in the trenches and do it. So what does it look like? So Does your parish already have a Respect Life group? Join them. If not, start your own group. Talk to your priest, your pastor there, get their approval. And I talked to someone yesterday. For 1 to 2 hours even, not even 2 to 3, 1 to 2 hours a month, you can make a huge difference. 1 hour meeting, 1 hour actually putting it into effect. Have fun with it. We did a Father's Day story where people submitted stories. That's Nicholas Check that I am knighting. He won the St. Joseph Hammer, and now he works for Students for Life. So if you want to get knighted by me, maybe you'll work for them. I don't know. Just in closing, in Ohio, we have 120 churches in just our diocese in Toledo. We've got over 800 parishes in Ohio total. And then in the United States, we've got 16,000. Imagine if you guys, not infiltrated, but just activated each of our churches to do this, right? So what do? So contact your diocesan Respect Life director. That would be me if you're in Ohio. So, and 2, find out if you've already got a group. Go to respectlife.org for the materials. Get in the trenches and just become the saint that God created you to be. Here's the resources. Come and talk to us. Talk to all the beautiful people here. Talk to each other. These are the relationships that are going to last, honestly, a lifetime. This is how the change is made, with each other, okay? So God bless you guys, and just thank you for being here.
Good morning. Those were some big shoes to fill. So, good morning, everybody. My name is Cristina Flores. I will be speaking on Latinos and the future of pro-life America. So, let me see how this goes. Okay, so a short story about where I'm from. I come from the city of El Paso, Texas. Yes, thank you. So it's a city located right at the west tip of Texas that borders the New Mexico state line and the U.S.-Mexico border. Just so you get an idea of how close we actually are to the border, the top of the picture is Ciudad Juárez, Mexico, and the bottom of the picture is El Paso, Texas. Basically one city. It's majority Hispanic. And a couple years ago, back in 2018, Planned Parenthood announced that they were opening a Planned Parenthood clinic in my city. They were saying that women needed affordable health care. Regardless of immigration status, we were going to offer free, affordable services and this and that. And the clinic opened. And I would sidewalk counsel there and talk to the women who were going to those clinics. And they would tell me, well, it's none of your business being out here. I'm just going for a pap smear. I'm going for birth control. I'm going to take a pregnancy test. So you stay out of it. And I didn't stay out of it like most of you can see now because the closest abortion clinic was a 20-minute drive away in Santa Teresa, New Mexico. And Planned Parenthood could write referrals to those women if they wanted an abortion. So Planned Parenthood literally hijacked my city. They hijacked it. But I'm not sharing this story as a sob story. I'm sharing this story as a learning story. What can we learn from Planned Parenthood? What did they do so right to be accepted in my city and in my community? And what can we do to kind of flip everything? So what they did was they did research. They knew where they were going, what demographic they were targeting, what geographical location they were going. They knew that by opening the clinic in Texas, they couldn't justify that it was an abortion clinic. Abortion is not legal in Texas. But they also knew that El Paso is right next to the Mexican border, and the state of Chihuahua, that abortion is not legal there, only in exceptions of rape. So obviously women from Mexico who wanted an abortion were gonna go there and get that referral. And New Mexico has abortion, no restrictions, up to 9 months. So obviously they were not gonna care if a woman was coming from another country, another city. They were underage. So they're basically killing 3 birds with 1 stone with this clinic. It was so strategic. But they also knew how to market. They knew how to say it was affordable health care because there's a lot of poverty within the Hispanic community. There's 62 million Hispanics. We're about 1/5 of the population of the United States. And of those 62 million, 17% live in poverty. The national poverty rate is 11%, and 17% of Hispanics are in poverty. In addition to that, a lot of Latinos don't have medical insurance, so we can't have free or medical services. We're not covered by insurance. So that clinic is literally like free, affordable. That is a miracle to them. But that's a lie. That's just promoting the culture of death in our community. And we're gonna add to that teen pregnancy in the Hispanic community is high. 1 in 4 women will have at least 1 kid before the age of 20. So you add the poverty, you add the teen pregnancy, and you get what you can say the perfect recipe for an abortion. And so far, 26% of all abortions in the United States are done on Hispanic women only. That's about 160,000 abortions every single year. It's just that. 1 in 4 women who go to an abortion clinic are Hispanic. So we're a minority that we can no longer be ignored. We have to be addressed. And they already talked about this, but a lot of women are not married. They're poor and they're already mothers. And I've overheard conversations on the sidewalk where mom says, I just have 2 kids at home. I just can't do this anymore. We're being targeted. Planned Parenthood knows that we are vulnerable. My community is being targeted. But you know what? This is where you guys come in. This is where the pro-life generation comes in, because now that you guys know everything, you can take all these strategies and use it to the side of life. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. We use everything that we already have in the pro-life movement and use that, starting with our most valuable asset, which are the pregnancy resource centers. I personally believe women seek abortion because they don't have support with their families, their schools, their partners, their jobs, anything. So Planned Parenthood knows this, and that's why half of all abortion clinics are in minority neighborhoods. But you guys know what? We far outnumber Planned Parenthood by 4 times. We have 4 times as many pregnancy resource centers Planned Parenthood. But the problem is women don't know about us. So we need to have the information out there. There's misinformation. NBC News is saying that pregnancy resource centers are evil. We have to change that. We have to create an awareness of the issue. I invite you, if you're in a pregnancy resource, if you're on one, hire someone to do social media for you. We have to put the information out there. Hire Gen Z, literally 20-year-olds, teenagers. They know how to use the social media. You guys don't have to worry about it. Also, abortion is a very taboo topic within the Hispanic community. It's like what Trent Horn was saying. Don't talk about it. Let's not talk about it. But 160,000 women every year are counting on you to talk about it. And then in college campuses, any Students for Life groups out here in the crowd? Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. Yeah, thank you. Yes, so 1/5 of all college students are now Hispanic. They're being told in college, the my body, my choice, abortion rhetoric. We have to be there and speak the truth. That's what my group at Students for Life at UTEP, shout out to you guys. That's what we have been doing for the past 5 years. It's been uncomfortable. It's been crazy and chaotic, but people need to know about the truth. They need to know that we're out there, that the pro-life generation is out there. And if they think differently from their professors, that there's students who support them in that. If you're all, this is important, if you're all gonna be taking one thing from my presentation, I would like it to be this. If you speak the beauty of the pro-life message to someone, but they do not understand you, it's gonna be all for nothing. You have to speak our language. So 2/3 of the country speaks Spanish. So I invite you, hire someone in pregnancy resource centers to speak to those women who need the resources. Again, social media, we have to create content in Spanish. And websites, brochures, topic cards, those have to be translated. Planned Parenthood is doing it, and they're making it aesthetic and pretty. Abortion is not pretty. So the pro-life movement, we have to step up and talk to these women who don't understand us, and they only get the message from Planned Parenthood. We already talked about this. Kevin did an amazing job, but a lot of Hispanics and Latinos are in religious circles, so this is something that has to be addressed in their churches. Finally, the reason I say why Latinos are the future of pro-life America, we're 15% of all voters, and we have huge population in the swing states. Just look at last election. We did a lot of damage in those states. You saw all the liberals freaking out in Reddit. Oh my gosh, the Latinos, like, what the heck, they're pro-life? Yes, we are. We are pro-life. Yeah. We shifted away from the pro-abortion Democrat ideals because we do not want abortion on demand. That is a message of despair. We, Latinos, are a people of hope. We have hope for the future. That is why we immigrate from different countries of where they leave violence or poverty, and we come to the United States of America, the land of the free and the home of the brave. Let's keep that. And because of that generosity, a lot of Latinos usually become activists because they want to give their time and energy to creating a better future. We want a better future for our children. We want a better future and leave a legacy. And that better future starts with the right to life. Thank you. And, thank you. Muchas gracias. So thank you.
Oh my goodness, so many amazing speakers. That was amazing. Yes, all right, so let's see. I got to get my bearings here. Oh, no, not there yet. Here we go. All right, I'm Nicole Swanek, and we're going to be talking about growing hearts and minds. And I'm your last speaker, I believe, before lunch. So 10 minutes, y'all, and you are dismissed. You get to eat. You have stayed with us. Thank you so much for being here. All right. Educating our children in their formative years, in basic science, in truth, this is going to be what cultivates a society that not only protects legally life, but values life and loves life. And that's what we want, because it's going to be in this education that we grow the hearts and minds of our children. And that's what forms our future pro-life generation, our future pro-life leaders. So, my wonderful helper over here who's sitting in the front row, Bridget, just wave your hand real high so they know. Bridget Swanek and I are going to be talking to you today about how we go forth in our communities and we grow those hearts and minds, because it matters that we get this message to kids at a very young age. As our former speakers said, we need to be talking about this, and we need to be talking about this now. Because if we don't, their heads are going to be filled with all sorts of misinformation by the time they hit 12 or 13. And let me tell you, we had a very young girl who came into our church, Mr. Jory, to our faith formation class at 7 years old and said, I can't believe I'm going to lose my access to abortion. I'll never be able to go to college. So we have to teach our children, and we need to start forming their minds now. So we're here to equip you with 2 really basic pro-life lessons that are going to be able to be used with kids from about 3 years old to 12 to 13 years old. And they're going to lay the foundation of that pro-life education that is going to change the way these kids think about the unborn forever, because you cannot unlearn the humanity of the unborn. All right, so let's get to it. We are now a classroom. We're going to step into the pro-life classroom for just about maybe 8 minutes, okay? So bear with me. I think it's going to be fun, though. Our first lesson that you guys, this is my encouragement to you. This is the challenge. Go forth and teach the youth of our country. By the way, Teens and young adults, you guys have a clear advantage here. They think you are so cool already just by the nature of being a teenager or a young adult. So use that to your advantage, because I am in my 40s and I am not cool, but you are. And I love it when the little kids look up to you. All right, so lesson number 1 is fetal development. This is the most crucial lesson that children can learn, and that is because it's critical that they know that the unborn are human and that human life begins at conception. And guys, we need to explicitly be stating this to our children. Please don't walk around the truth with them. They're way too smart for that. Seriously, even 3-year-olds can get basic science and truth. So, we teach fetal development, but we do it in a fun way because they're kids and we don't want to bore them to tears, right? Nobody wants that. So we use I think it's fun. I'm kind of biased. Bridget created this resource, so I love it. A fetal development candy kit. This is just a bag of different size candy. And it's really popular because everybody loves candy. And we use that different size candy to represent the unborn baby at different stages of life. So Bridget, can you actually grab our little mini M&M here? So as we walk the kids through their bag of candy, we're actually walking them through the different weeks of the unborn. And when we talk about size, we're also going to be talking about those big developmental milestones that the unborn baby is having. Because here's the thing, even to me who's been doing this for a little while now, it's mind-blowing. I'm sorry, I teach young kids. I'm going to use my hands in all sorts of ways. It's literally a mind-blowing thing to these children that the baby's developing. So for example, we've got the mini M&M. Hold it up, Bridget. Look how small that is. The mini M&M represents the 6-week-old baby. And we're gonna talk about how baby's already got this beating heart. And that's incredible to these kids. And we're gonna have a discussion and we're gonna let them react and let them ask questions. We want them to react. We want those questions. And as we do that, can you also get our fetal development model, Bridget? Bring out every fetal development model you have in your club's arsenal. Hold that up, hold baby high. She deserves to shine because it constantly reinforces the humanity of the unborn when we show kids that baby actually looks like a small human baby. Spoiler alert, it's a human and it's a baby. It's just kind of invisible to them. Now, I said this is the most crucial lesson that you will teach children. It's also the most rewarding, because we typically have 2 camps of kids that come into our classrooms. And yes, even in our churches or our Christian schools, these are the same mindsets that we deal with, or that we encounter as a blessed challenge. Number 1 mindset is that that the children believe that the unborn are kind of like this unreal, invisible, unknown thing. They don't know about them, and they kind of just don't care about them because they don't know about them. All right. And number 2 is that the unborn are a parasitic nuisance clump of cells. And yes, even at the young age of kindergarten, 1st grade, 2nd grade, 3rd grade, they're already being filled with this misinformation. So it's amazing to see the transformation of a young child who's gaining this knowledge. And when they have that aha moment, which they will, we have had a 100% success rate of the kids that we've just taught this year, and it's been over 300, saying to us from ages 3 to 13, oh my goodness, Miss Nicole, Miss Bridget, because she does teach with me, she's amazing, this is a baby. And you can be like, yes, it is. And it's a human baby too. So at that point, we've had our teacher touchdown. We go through the weeks, and kids walk away understanding the humanity of the unborn. This is huge. And then we get to move on to lesson 2. And this is the only other lesson you need to teach to truly fundamentally change the way children are going to view the unborn. And this has to do with personhood. And these are all my helpers. So I'm so grateful for Students for Life leadership. All right. So personhood, we talk about this. Their presence will become so apparent really in like 1 minute. We talk about personhood because we need to fortify that knowledge. They now understand that the unborn are human, but we now need to equip those kids to actually be able to logic through and challenge the most common arguments that are going to be waged against the unborn's right to life, because we know that's what the world is going to throw at them. They're going to challenge the humanity of the unborn, and they're going to say, but what about personhood? So we need to give them some things they can go back to so that they can talk about this. All right, now, philosopher Stephen Schwartz said that there are 4 differences between born and unborn humans. Those are represented by that SLED acronym right up there: size, level of development, environment, and dependency. So we walk through these 4 differences using the whole class. The whole class gets up, we do exercises, we do demonstrations, and we discuss with them to lead them to the conclusion that none of these differences justify the stripping of the unborn's rights. So we're going to take 60 seconds, and we're going to do a size discrimination demonstration. All right, so we're all in the classroom right now. This is very exciting. I love when we're in the classroom. Oh, and we're figuring out who's handing these things out. All right, they'll figure it out. So obviously it's size discrimination, so spoiler alert, you guys are going to be discriminated against based off of your size. But since we've already had our fetal development lesson, we know these are all born humans. So Charlotte, can you please hand out to the 3 tallest humans candy, because they have the right to eat candy today. 2 minutes before you're probably dismissed for lunch, I'm only giving candy to half the class. And this is literally what we do. We'd raise up the whole class, and we're going to show them, yeah, only half of you have the right to eat candy today based off of your size. And, I mean, obviously, how does this go? This goes so poorly. You want to see the fury of a child? Do not give them candy. And that's what we want. We want righteous indignation brewing. Mr. Jory talked about Braveheart. How about those that didn't get the right to candy? Are you angry? I mean, we play it up, guys. We play it up in the classroom. We want that righteous indignation brewing because it's going to help convict them of the truth. This isn't right. This isn't fair. Should your right to candy be determined off of your size? And Students for Life unanimously says? No. Okay, amen. That's why they're leaders. They got that answer right. And of course, we're going to walk them through then, the children through basic human rights. And what about the right to life? Should your right to literally live be based off of whether or not you're smaller, bigger, taller, based off your size? And Students for Life, once again, unanimously says? No, of course not, of course not. And once we've come to that agreement in the classroom, the unborn baby gets her moment to shine. Do you have my unborn baby? Yes, hold her up. The unborn baby gets her moment to shine, and we're going to loop her back in because that was the whole point from the beginning, right? We now know that born humans, we shouldn't discriminate against them, but what about the unborn? She is so much smaller than the rest of you. Does she deserve basic human rights? Does this unborn baby deserve the right to live? And Students for Life unanimously says? Yes, absolutely, 100%. And this is again where you pull out your arsenal of every single baby fetal model that you have ever had, because you want to walk the kids in descending order from the biggest baby model you have to the smallest, because they've had fetal development. They know baby comes in all different sizes until she's born. And we want to show that it doesn't matter if we're talking about the 20-week or the 12-week-old or the 8-week-old or the baby at conception. This is a human life, and it is our humanity that gives us these rights and the right to life. Thank you so much, my helpers. You can sit down. You are amazing. And everyone does get candy. So for my last 60 seconds with you guys, I realize that just because I am saying to you, you can and you should go forth and talk about these issues. The world says children are too young. They are not. Please go forth, go teach them. It is a calling. Answer the call. I realize just because I say go forth and teach them, it does not mean that there is a group of children waiting at your doorstep like the sound of music for you to walk outside of and sing your lesson to. So you are going to need to do the hard work, and this is the hardest work of all, getting community partners. On your handout there, you're going to see suggestions of how we've done it, the tips and sort of steps of how to start partnering with your community, your local churches, your local schools, your local organizations. So reach out to them. This is going to be hard, but here's the thing. It only takes one yes, guys. And after one yes, you get a good reputation because you do a good job, and doors will open. So reach out to those community partners. This is too important not to do. We have to teach our children. And I'm going to leave you with words far greater than any that I can come up with. Train up the young in the way they should go, and even when they are old, they will not swerve from it. Proverbs 22:6. Go grow some hearts and minds in love and in life. And when they are older, they will be sitting where you are, and here's the great thing. You guys changed so many hearts and minds already. I know you do. This is the hard work you're doing. God willing, you won't have to change as many because they will have been growing up believing in the truth and convicted with the truth that the unborn are human and that every human deserves basic rights, especially that right to life. So God bless every single one of you and your work. Thank you so much.